You're listening to the Raw Reaction on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Dude, I am doing well, brother. Like you said, we're not going to be like Billy and Chuck at the altar. We're not going to leave you hanging. We're going to consummate this evening's show.
I agree. I want to apologize to you and all the folks who have waited a little bit longer than normal for the Raw Reaction, but we've had a little opportunity to chew on it, really understand it, to really think about what we're going to say. But you know what, Big Dick? I want to get right into what's got me very excited about Raw, what's got me very excited about WWE. I was very critical last week of the fact that we were getting another Goldberg-Lesnar match, that we were wasting Goldberg on his last match being at WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar for the 99th time. However, we come to find out tonight in what was an amazing segment by Kevin Owens and Jericho talking about the greatest main event in WWE and WrestleMania history, Jericho versus Owens. They were interrupted by Goldberg, and we'll talk about what caused this to happen, but we are going to see at Fastlane Goldberg versus Kevin Owens for the WWE Universal title. Wow. I did not see that coming. Did you, Big Dick? How do you feel?
I did not at all. I mean, obviously he needs a match at the upcoming pay-per-view, but that's pretty big. That's a pretty big deal. It makes me almost think that Goldberg is going to win the title and main event WrestleMania versus Lesnar, or be one of the 5 co-main events versus Lesnar.
It makes sense now, though, to me, because I think this is what is an interesting comment. Jericho and Owens are so damn great together, and obviously the Festival of Friends next week that they announced, which is going to be awesome. I don't even need to know what the Festival of Friends is all about, but Jericho is throwing the biggest and greatest event in the history of TV, which is the Festival of Friends for him and Kevin Owens and his best friend Kevin Owens.
I'm looking forward to that.
I think WWE is realizing that match is money itself because of how great these two play off each other. There's no doubt in my mind that the U.S. title could carry them. It doesn't even matter. They don't need a title. Jericho versus Owens itself carries itself. But
yeah, I mean, they're talking they'll do in the ring, the storytelling they'll do in the ring.
It's gonna be awesome. It's awesome already. It's awesome already.
I love Kevin Owens in the ring. He'll literally put somebody in an armbar and be like, "Ask me who wants to submit," or he'll pin somebody for like a half a count. You're like, "That was 3." Like, it's just like the biggest.
Jericho does the same thing. He goes, "Ask him, ask him, ask him." I love that. I mean, they're so similar in their own ways. I mean, they're just great, you know. But what's awesome, Big Dick, is it breathes life into the possibilities of Goldberg-Lesnar. And here are those possibilities. Goldberg wins over Kevin Owens, which I'm 100% sure of. Now you have Goldberg versus Lesnar for the WWE title. Holy crap. So now we're either going to get another Lesnar title run, which would be awesome because no one can beat him. And that would set up matches with potentially Finn Balor, Kevin Owens himself. I mean, it's just endless possibilities. And right. Well, by the way, there's an MSG title match booked between Kevin Owens and Goldberg and Lesnar in between Fastlane. So I wouldn't be surprised if Lesnar may walk out. Somehow the title will wind up with Lesnar or Goldberg. But here's the thing. What if the impossible happens? Goldberg beats Lesnar again and continues to be our WWE champion. How about that? Because he's been advertised for events after WrestleMania.
Really?
Yes.
I've not heard that.
It's on WrestleZone. Not that I know I'm going to get in trouble for bringing up WrestleZone on the air, but it is on WrestleZone right now that they're advertising him for events after WrestleMania.
Wow, that's interesting stuff. Because they don't usually do that unless he's going to be there.
I mean, this is huge. This is absolutely huge.
Yeah, this is exciting. The one thing I will tell you though, and I got thinking about this a little bit, and over the last couple of days I've thought about it too. If you look at Jericho and Owens in the ring with Goldberg, it's almost like sort of like a mix between the eras. Like now, Like back in the day, people loved like Buff Bagwell and Lex Luger and Goldberg. Now people want guys like with the physique of like you and I. Like that's
My
like
physique's not
they
bad.
literally want they want the common man's physique. But
Listen,
like
I
good
got a lot of
wrestling.
things wrong with me, but my physique is not bad.
Okay,
I know
okay, let me go back. But like the James Ellsworth
Yeah.
physique, or the Kevin Owens physique, or even a Daniel Bryan. I mean, he's not freaking jacked up out of
He's
his
in great
mind. I mean,
shape, though.
he's in good shape, but he's like 5'10" and has a beard like everybody else. Like they want the every man to win the championship. They don't. That's why they don't want somebody like Roman Reigns who's like 6'4", 300 pounds and jacked
And the
out of
best
his
looking
mind.
guy in the world.
What's that?
And the best looking guy in the world.
Exactly. They don't want that. They want it to be.
He's like,
every man's
by the
champ.
way, I just want to throw this out there, and I don't know why this came into my head, but I think it's pretty apropos. Roman Reigns is a 2017 version of Fabio. Look that one up, youngsters.
Wow.
Remember Fabio, man? That's Roman Reigns, man. He's Fabio.
Yeah, people are gonna be like, who the hell is Fabio?
But they can look him up and be like, man, that guy is an asshole. If they look up Fabio, they will hate Fabio. I hate Fabio. Fabio. Remember all the fat white women in the 80s loved Fabio?
Oh, yeah. Dude, Fabio was fabulous.
He was fabulous.
But yeah, I mean, I swear to God, like today, and I mean, don't get me wrong, people like Goldberg because there's like nostalgia, but I mean, if you look at him in the ring with Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, like holy shit, like I'd be scared shitless too if I was Kevin Owens.
Goldberg is so old school, and the way he tells the story, it looks like he's gonna freaking kill someone. I mean, he's just awesome. Like, I mean, get over like some of the stupid things he says, but I mean, even the marks, or I should rephrase that. Even the smarks, I know love him. They don't want to admit it, but they love him. They are marking out for him. Like, they don't want to admit it, but they know Goldberg's awesome. I know they know it. I know that they know
He's like 51 years old, and he's like still in really good shape. And not like really good shape, like can do like cardio, but like really good shape as far as like he's pretty fucking jacked.
Forget that, dude. Look at his physique from the match at Survivor Series to Royal Rumble. I mean, he got in great shape. I mean, just great shape. I mean, I give him a lot of credit. You know?
And now, you know what? He's gonna have my only concern is, and I'm sort of gonna hate this, is if Kevin Owens loses the title in 5 minutes, because what that's gonna do is it's gonna after WrestleMania, it's gonna either keep the title on him, put the title on Lesnar, who's unbeatable, and basically destroy Kevin Owens and his credibility.
He is going to kill Kevin Owens. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
I think he's going to win, but not in 5 minutes. Have the match last 15 minutes.
I don't think Goldberg has the cardio to last that long. I think that's the problem. I think he's just an older guy, and it's not that they don't want to do longer matches. I don't think he physically can.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, I think at some point you have to have. I mean, if he wrestles Lesnar, they have to have a 10-minute match. I would hope. Like they can't do the same shit they did at Survivor Series at
I'm afraid Lesnar's going to do the reverse to him. I mean, I think there's something. I actually think there might be something physically wrong with Goldberg, in a way. You know, like that they can play off his monster. You know that he's a monster, but like there's just. I mean, even the Royal Rumble, he wasn't doing much.
No. But you know what? I mean, at the same time, even at the Royal Rumble, that's 3 months ago, his next match is not for another month almost. I mean, that's 3 months to get your cardio, get your shit in shape where you can last 10, 15 minutes in a match. I'm not asking you to wrestle a 25, 30-minute match. I'm asking you to wrestle a 10, 15-minute match against Kevin Owens and another one at WrestleMania. So get on the fucking treadmill and fucking build your cardio up.
Well, I'll tell you, the Friends Fest will be great next week, and I love Jericho getting in Goldberg's face and saying, you know what, Goldberg, I never liked you, and you know that the history, they got into the backstage fight in WCW, it was perfectly done. And then he's like, "You want a match? You want a match? Well, then you got Kevin Owens at Fastlane for the title." That was so awesome.
I loved him. Just about put him on a list, and Goldberg grabbing the list from him. He's like, "I'm gonna put myself on the list."
Well, I didn't really understand that. Like, what is that supposed to mean? Goldberg putting himself on the list.
I don't know. I think it was because he put Tom Brady on the list. There's a lot of people on the list, and I think he's supposed to put like Chris Jericho's enemies are supposed to be on the list. So I think that he's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna step in there, be ambitious, rather than you saying it and getting a pop. I'm gonna take it, turn it around, and try to get that pop myself.
I don't know if anybody noticed it, but did you notice what Goldberg did when he wrote his name on the list?
No,
He actually wrote on the board. He didn't write on the list.
really.
Yeah.
He could have wrote on the next page. No, I
He
didn't.
actually wrote on the list itself.
Wow. I don't know what to say about that. That's just bad acting right there.
On the list itself, buddy.
Well, you know what? It's good. I like it so fastly, and I'm really shocked with how the way they space these pay-per-views. Like, Elimination Chamber is next weekend. No, it's this weekend. It's literally 2 weeks after Royal Rumble.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, I mean but it seems quick because then there's another 2 weeks and then you have, or 3 weeks I think, and you have the Raw pay-per-view, Fastlane, and then another month and you have the next pay-per-view. I figured it would have spaced out a little bit more.
Well, I'm going to tell you now, I don't think you could have made Fastlane more interesting now than with this Goldberg Owens match. I mean, you just turned this into a must-see television event.
Yeah, and you know what else I like about it? I like the fact that they're starting to put wrestlers, like some of the main draws, into these smaller pay-per-views to make it interesting. I mean, you really only need one wrestler and then one part-time guy to turn it into a great match. I mean, what if Lesnar decides, hey, you know what, I want to get in a match too? I mean, I think right now we're probably going to have, for this next pay-per-view in later this month, we'll probably have a tag team match with the 3 tag team, a women's match, maybe 2 women's matches, Goldberg versus Owens, Zayn versus Jericho, Strowman versus Reigns, and then possibly one more match.
Yes.
I feel like, you know what, Samoa Joe versus maybe Finn Balor. I don't know. That's who, I mean, basically that's the only person who probably needs a match still is Samoa Joe.
Well, let me throw something out there to you. You know, I think there's no doubt that Fastlane is becoming a big pay-per-view, and I mean, I love the fact like Goldberg's on the card now, but what do you make of Strowman and Reigns in a situation where Reigns basically, and we'll talk to it, Reigns basically put over Samoa Joe tonight, and he's gonna put over Strowman at Fastlane. Like, what, Reigns is basically like a high-end jobber.
He's like the Wyatt of faces, except everybody hates him, which is the exact opposite of Bray Wyatt, where he is heel that everybody loves.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know, honestly, I don't even really know if Bray Wyatt is truly a heel, to be honest with you. I mean, being a heel is all relative, right? I mean, really, Bray Wyatt's job is to eradicate the WWE of all things that are anti the machine and the things that were supposed to be forced on us, and, you know, like anyone but you, Roman. So I think in a way, especially with Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt may not truly be a heel in a sense of heelness. I think Roman Reigns is truly a heel because the fans truly dislike his arrogance about being the man and the big dog in the yard. So in a way, Roman's kind of a heel. You know what I mean? It's all relative. Like, I mean, there's no way WWE, even though Roman Reigns is a heel, in that first segment wants Samoa Joe to go over as the face. I mean, there's no way they want that there. I mean, they can't. That's just a badly booked segment. Why would you book Samoa Joe, the top henchman that just knocked out Seth Rollins, into a segment to Roman Reigns. And go one step further. There is one thing I hated about this first segment. Roman Reigns should freaking hate Seth Rollins. He ruined the Shield and embarrassed those guys. Why would Roman Reigns ever step up for Seth Rollins?
Your amends, if he came out and said something like, you know what? It's like Seth Rollins was my friend, and you beat him up. Whatever, I'm coming to avenge him. Like, that would be good face stuff. If he came out and said, hey, you know what? You beat up him, you can't beat up me. That's good heel stuff. He didn't do either of them. He just sort of came out like, this is my yard, this is my fight, this is whatever. I mean, I don't know. It felt rushed from where it should have. I mean, I feel like that should have been something that I would have liked to see. And, you know what, we still might see it depending on what they do for WrestleMania to see that match come to fruition. But, I mean, literally first night, have it booked in the first, 20 minutes of the show, that just didn't seem right for Samoa Joe. It seemed like they're pushing him on fast.
You know what I liked best about Bad News Brown?
What?
He used to call WrestleMania WrestleMania.
WrestleMania?
He'd be like, and I'm going to go to WrestleMania, and I'm going to take on whoever I need to take on and beat them. WrestleMania. I like that a lot. I really like that. WrestleMania.
Dude, WrestleMania is shit, man. It's so much better on WrestleMania.
It is better. But Samoa Joe basically took out Roman Reigns before their match and then brought him in the ring and kicked his ass and beat him. I mean, that was pretty damn decisive, if you ask me.
Yeah. But you know what? I mean, I think what's-his-name had a little bit of an out because Strowman interfered, and also he got jumped before the match by Samoa Joe.
Yeah, but he got outsmarted, though, dude. I mean, I thought he looked like a fool. I thought he looked like an absolute fool, and Samoa Joe looked like a crafty veteran.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, he definitely got made to look like a fool, but you know what? He's not wrestling for the championship at the next pay-per-view. He's wrestling Braun Strowman, and he's probably going to end up putting it over.
True.
So, I mean, that could actually be ultimately be a good thing for his character, because I think a lot of fans hate him because he's never really done the mid-card thing, right. And he's never had to put people over.
He's definitely been putting people over, I have to say, and he doesn't look unhappy doing it or pouting around like The Miz did. So, you know, I will say he has proven he is a company guy, and honestly, Roman Reigns stays healthy, man. I mean, he's never on the shelf. I mean, he stays healthy. I mean, some would say he wrestles a boring rate, and that's what keeps him healthy. But
you know what? I don't know about that. His match at the last pay-per-view at Royal Rumble, I thought it was a great match until the interference. But I mean, that was a great match. It was probably 15, 18 minutes long with Kevin Owens.
But I think I know I sound like a smart here, but I think that was Kevin Owens.
No, I mean you're right. But the thing is, he can keep up. I mean, he can't
keep up. You know what? You're right, because you know what? His Royal Rumble match last year with Rollins and Lesnar, or no, excuse me, I take that back. His WrestleMania match with Lesnar that turned into the match with Rollins and Lesnar, that was a fantastic match. I mean, he took a beating. He made it interesting. He told the story.
He's still kicking. I mean, I'm going to give him a ton of credit for that. I think that was, I mean, that was like almost 2 years ago. But same shows that, I mean, he has it in, or he can take German suplexes and F5s and still be able to come out and fight. I mean,
I can't even wake up on time for Raw Reaction, let alone wrestle a match at that level. So you're right. How about the worst tag team champions in the history of wrestling, Gallows and Anderson?
Wow, you've anointed them very quickly.
They're so bad. So bad. So bad. And I hated the rematch with Sheamus and Cesaro ending the way it did, with Anderson and Gallows getting Cesaro and Sheamus disqualified because number one contenders Enzo and Cass couldn't control themselves at ringside when they were messed with by Carl Anderson.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like they're just trying to get this match set up for next pay-per-view where it's going to be 3 tag teams.
Well, I'd prefer that. I hope Sheamus and Cesaro just don't get cut out. You know what I mean? Like, I hope it's not like, oh, they had their match and they move on to something else. Like, I really hope they get another shot because I don't think even in the context of the storyline, like what WWE has to remember, like we remember that Sheamus is a world champion and a 2-time WWE champion. Like, we're not gonna forget about that, right? Like, Sheamus is like absolutely dominant in WWE lore. I mean, he's been a multi-time champion. He's 3-time, regardless of WWE world, he's a 3-time champion, right? I mean, That is unbelievable. Like, wow. Cesaro has held every belt but the WWE or world title. So, you know, I mean, these guys are super highly decorated, and I don't think that their characters would accept not getting a true rematch. And Gallows and Anderson are scrubs, dude. Period.
Well, I'll tell you what. I feel like the more we talk about Raw, I feel like it's very hierarchy based. I feel like there's the upper card of the pay-per-view, and I almost feel like Strowman and Reigns are there, and I feel like the mid card, it's like Sami Zayn and probably Chris Jericho at the next pay-per-view, but Chris Jericho like a 12-time champion, so I don't really consider him mid card, but he has a mid card belt. But then, who else do we have under that besides Jobber number 1, Jobber number 2, Jobber number 3, and Jobber number 4?
You know what's unfortunate? Rusev is a mid carder, and that sucks because
that's right.
Well, that's the problem with WWE. I mean, like, you have Goldust and R-Truth thrown on a tag team. Like, they're good mid-carders, right? They're good workers. And Goldust particularly gives you a threat. Like, you book Goldust against Roman Reigns, it is conceivable he could win. I mean, he won't. But, you know, it's not like he's a total joke. You know,
yeah, if interferes, he could win.
Yeah, you know, I mean, in fact, when Sheamus was undefeated, his only loss was a count-out loss where he was outsmarted by Goldust, which that was his first loss. Most people probably don't remember that, but that was pretty cool. You know, and I don't know. I have a lot of respect for some of the older guys, and you know, R-Truth in a competitive match where he loses to, you know, Cesaro isn't a bad thing. You know, so they got their basically all their mid card guys in the tag division, and I agree with you. WWE really, you know, they on Raw at least, they don't have that mid card defined very well. They have just complete jobbers, or it's a good point. It's a really good point.
And I mean, technically, you consider Roman Reigns and Strowman mid card, but in reality, I mean, Roman Reigns is a multi-time champion, and Strowman is like the hot shit. So I don't really consider that a mid card match. I mean, it's not like Ziggler and Midge. Part of it, you know,
Midge, no, don't leave that. You were talking about Midge. Who is this new superstar, Midge?
Midge? Oh, Midge, she's a sexy motherfucker.
Midge, dude. I am literally sprung that you said Midge.
Right now?
I love Midge, dude. That was awesome. The spontaneity, Vic, is beautiful right there. I love it. I'm so happy right now that you said Midge.
But yeah, anyway, so Midge and the
Midge has been awesome, though. I will give them that. He has been one of the best things on TV.
Yeah, I mean, those are like the mid card on SmackDown. But the problem is their tag team division absolutely blows. I feel like there's like 10 tag teams in WWE right now, or maybe 11 in WWE, and there's like 3 good ones.
Yeah, American Alpha and New Day.
Yeah, and then Cesaro and what's his name?
Cesaro's incredible. I mean, think about the Kings of Wrestling with Chris Hero, who's cashed his own out.
Yeah, like to win a championship.
And then Tyson Kidd and Jack Swagger. Like, how many awesome tag teams has Cesaro been in? I mean, he's just awesome.
Yeah, I feel like he definitely needs to somehow get a title run. I feel like they need to turn him into like a Bubba Ray Dudley.
I think WWE will give him his title run, and can I tell you, when he gets it, I think they're going to give him a very long one. I think WWE, likes him a lot more than the fans think they do.
Yeah. I don't know. I almost feel like, you know who he reminds me of? Not necessarily in body of work, but just in strength and just wrestling skill. Dean Malenko.
I could see that. I think he's had a better career than Dean Malenko.
Wow.
Dean Malenko had a great U.S. title run in WCW, and he was a great cruiserweight champion. But I think Cesaro has been trusted in bigger spots than WCW or ECW ever trusted Dean Malenko.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. I don't think Dean Malenko ever got in the main event. He might have got like one or two main event spots.
Yeah.
Or he's definitely got more main event spots. But at the same time, you have to look at it where Cesaro, I mean, he is a pretty big guy, and he connects with the fans. The fans love him.
Right.
And he can wrestle. He can't wrestle like Dean Malenko, but he's pretty damn close.
I don't remember Cesaro ever having a big money feud. I want to say he had some sort of feud with John Cena, but I don't really remember it.
He had, I think it was either him or Sandow who won the Money in the Bank.
That was it.
I think it was Sandow who won the Money in the Bank and challenged Cena on like Monday Night Raw.
So then I would say, although I think Malenko wasn't trusted in the situations that Cesaro is, Malenko had a bigger, very noteworthy feud. In fact, WCW really pumped it up. Malenko had a really, really big feud with Bret Hart, and that was a big deal. So, you know, Malenko definitely had his moments, but you know, a lot of people point to the feud between Jericho and Malenko, where Malenko was Ciclope in disguise. But the thing is, the Jericho-Malenko feud wasn't meant to be a big and memorable feud. Those guys made it a big and memorable feud, and that was what's awesome about Chris Jericho. He was not supposed to be in WCW what he wound up being. I mean, he just went out there with whatever they gave him, and even in a loss, Jericho shined. Jericho shined in every single moment WCW utilized him, whether they were making a joke of him, whether they were pushing him or not pushing him. He just did the most with his TV.
I almost feel like Jericho was sort of like the Damian Sandow of WCW in the late 90s.
WWE is stupid because you know why? Sandow was so over with the fans. He was one of their most over people. Like, at least keep him and put him in the mid-card. What does that hurt? Right? Like, does it really hurt to keep him around? Like,
I mean, he's one of the top 5 most entertaining superstars.
But no, I'm just saying, like, I agree with you 100%. Like, what does it hurt? Like, okay, I don't want to say this the wrong way because I don't want anyone to think I don't like R-Truth, because I really do. He's one of my favorites. I love R-Truth. But, like, and I know this is going to sound the wrong way, but why do you need R-Truth on the roster? You don't at all. So why can't Damon Sandow stay? I mean, R-Truth's only there as like a favor to his past. And I know I'm really shitting on him here, and I really feel terrible about it because I really am such a fan of his. But Damien Sandow actually has a lot more to offer than that. Primo and Epico, same thing. Like, I get that Vince was really impressed with the Clone's father as a promoter back in the day, but does that warrant them to have these 2 roster spots? You know what I mean? So why doesn't Sandow have one of those spots?
Yeah, that's sort of...
Same with Curtis Axel. Why does Curtis Axel have that roster spot and not Sandow?
I don't know. That's one of those things where, I mean, it feels like they're just giving away good roster spots to people who will fill their needs. I
think WWE wanted Sandow as a worker, and they thought he was a good worker, and I think they resented that he went out there and riled the crowd up the way he did. I think they didn't like it, and they didn't want him to be that guy, and they eliminated what they perceived to be a problem.
Wow.
How about that?
I like it.
You know what? I think Titus O'Neil actually has that potential because his character now is getting so ridiculous and over the top that it's becoming very funny and it's catching my attention. And I think he has the potential to become very popular. I know that probably sounds crazy right now to a lot of people, but I think there's a lot of potential there in his character that he's playing right now.
He needs to work in his moveset a little bit. He has like 4 of them.
That is a killer of Titus O'Neil. He's got the look. He's good on the mic, but he is just not a good worker at all. At all.
Yeah, I definitely I hear what you're saying there.
Do you think WWE needs a transgender character?
I thought it was Nia Jax.
I like that they're announcing Nia Jax's weight now.
Are they? What is it?
272.
Oh my god. Ugh.
A lot of woman.
I would need
You ever been
her tag to make her look somewhat obtainable.
with a 272-pound woman?
You know what? If I have, I've been drunk enough not to remember it.
You know what?
No.
There is an ass for every seat. Never forget that.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Without a doubt.
Now, who did Nia Jax fight tonight? Bailey? Again?
Yeah. Or Bailey and won by disqualification.
No. No, I thought Nia Jax actually won, right?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, not disqualification, by distraction.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting because Bailey has the big title shot next week. And Nia Jax basically gets a clean win. And then Charlotte stood over Bailey at the end of the segment. And, you know, I would think, wouldn't Nia Jax go backstage immediately and be like, why am I not getting a title shot? I just beat your champion?
Yeah,
right?
I don't know. I think they're saving it for WrestleMania. They have a fatal four-way. But I'll tell you what's really weak. The tag team division in SmackDown. It is weak.
Why is it weak?
They have a 6-man elimination chamber. American Alpha's champs. They have the Von Villains, Mexico's greatest import.
Who, Alberto Del Rio?
No, Vicente Fox.
Who?
Vicente Fox.
Who is Vicente Fox?
Vicente Fox is the president of Mexico. Or he used to be the president of Mexico, maybe. One or the other.
Wait a second. He's in the Elimination Chamber,
They
man?
have the Usos. They have Keith Slater and Rhino. They have American Alpha, obviously.
Please
They have
don't.
the Ascension.
Yes. Remember the Ascension.
The Von
Best
Villains.
side ever.
The Von Villains. And I think that's 7 right there.
Why are the Ascension relegated to stupid signs like "Remember the Ascension"?
You know, I saw like 4 of them at the pay-per-view.
Like, why? Where did everybody get those from?
I have
Like-
no clue.
Like, what was up with that? I mean, I love it, by the way, but like, why would people have "Remember these"? And why would multiple people on different sides of the arena have those? Do you know?
No fucking clue.
Remember the Ascension. I remember the Ascension. They were the best. They were the best tag team in the history of NXT. So, do you think Bailey can win next week the title, or no? Big Dick.
Yo,
Do you think Bailey could win the title next week?
no.
No. You know what I'd like to see? A match where, like, if Bailey can't beat Charlotte, she has to like become her slave. And I would like to see like Charlotte dress up Bailey like a complete slut and like totally degrade her like a diva. That would be funny. I think it would be very salacious.
Wow.
You like that storyline?
I do.
Like have Bailey come out in little skimpy outfits and stuff. I think it would be interesting. She got to carry her coffee and stuff. I want to see that storyline. We'll see. What other matches did we see tonight? Am I missing something? Oh, we had your cruiserweights, dude. Right? We had a 6-man cruiserweight match. We had Neville and I want to say Noam Dar and Drew Gulak, or is it Tony Nese? It's Tony Nese. Tony Nese, Noam Dar, and Neville versus Cedric Alexander, TJ Perkins, and the extraordinary gentleman Jack Gallagher. And the faces won. I thought it was very cool. What'd you think of that? TJ's going to be facing off against Neville on 205 Live, which just happened, but I don't know who won. And then we saw Drew Gulak take on the not new, but returning cruiserweight Akira Tozawa, and Tozawa was amazing, and he had that snap German suplex, which is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. What did you think of the cruiserweights tonight, Vic? Did you love them? Did you need them? Did you fall asleep on us, Vic? Oh, Vic, he doesn't like the cruiserweights, folks. You could tell he just doesn't like the cruiserweights. So, in my opinion, Tozawa, if he sticks around, he's going to be one of the top cruiserweights, obviously, by what we saw tonight. TJ Perkins will not be winning our title. What I thought was interesting, though, is when Tozawa won the match, my main man, Brian Kendrick, came out to welcome him because he's a young kid by his estimations to the WWE. So a hearty handshake from Mr. The Brian Kendrick. And, I want to say that was Raw in a nutshell tonight. I know we might be missing a match or two, but it doesn't really seem to stand out. And that was it. So we got a lot of good stuff coming on Raw. I don't know where Big Dick is right now. Our producer extraordinaire, Killer Kev, is taking a nap, so we'll let him do that. But we will say tune in to Angry Marks Network, whereas on tonight being Wednesday, Thursday night, we have Thursday Night AMP with Jordan J. Garber and Mr. Stevie J, amongst many other folks that are on our network. So it should be a fun week. We want to thank everybody for tuning in, especially Big Dick and Mr. Killer Kev, and we will see you next week. So, without further ado, Killer Kev, hit the music.
This is Jim Cornette, pro wrestling legend and administrator of JimCornette.com and the Jim Cornette Experience on MLW every week, and you are listening to Angry Marks and all these people that are asking me all these questions that I'm answering with forthrightness and honesty.